Do you ever watch rom-coms and just cringe inwardly at how awkward the woman is during the date? How do you avoid these cringy moments in real life? In this video, we're going to talk about what not to do on a date. I'm Hannah with Identifying God's Best, and today we're going to have a girl talk, woman to woman. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one who has heard horror stories about cringy things women do on dates. And in this video, I'm going to go over a few things that you shouldn't do on a date. Number one is forget to pray. Do not forget to pray. Okay, this may not be a cringy or embarrassing thing like straight up, but your guy may not even notice that you forgot to pray. But if you're about to go on a date, you should really pray about it. In 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18, it says to rejoice always and to pray without ceasing. And hey, you can still be praying on the date as well. I know someone who went on a date with a girl and was very impressed that as soon as she got into the car with him, she said something like, "Hey, let's pray." And don't do it to appear more spiritual, but have the genuine desire to include the Lord in your time with this man who's trying to determine whether or not he's God's best for you and you're God's best for him. And number two, don't be his mom, please. It's so cringy when you're out with a couple or even sitting next to a couple at a restaurant and she's all like, "Brad, we're indoors. Take off your hat. Sit up straight. Stop talking with your mouth full." Look, this is just not respectful. You feel like your date is acting like a child constantly, you definitely have some things to consider before you go on another date. Remember, you're looking for someone who can lead you spiritually. And if you're acting like his mom, there's some serious issues. Number three, don't be his daughter. Okay, opposite side of the coin. You shouldn't be acting so immature and careless that he has to father you or make sure that you are being appropriate. Heard of boyfriends trying to gently tell their girlfriends to be more caring and respectful to the girl's own mom. This should have never happened on a date.
How embarrassing.
And I'm getting secondhand burns just thinking about the embarrassing stories I've heard.
Don't do this.
But be a Proverbs 31 woman, even when you're having fun. Proverbs 31:25 says that she clothes herself in strength and dignity. So do the same when you're going on dates and don't act like you're the date's daughter, like you're his child. Number four, let Jesus take the wheel. Okay, that hurt a little bit to say, but similar to the mom tip, but not exactly. Look, it's not your responsibility to lead the relationship. You can encourage and help build the conversation during the date, but ultimately it shouldn't be up to you to save the relationship or the date. If the guy really doesn't have it together, he needs to figure it out before he gets a wife and a family. And you may really like him and you really want things to work out, but trust in the Lord and allow your date to do the driving in the relationship. It'll show you a lot about him and whether or not he can lead you. Number five, don't expect casualties. Okay, so many Christians expect there to be some sort of moral risk to going on a date. Basically, to find God's best, you have to submit yourself to a lustful relationship beforehand. But that's completely untrue. God expects holiness from you. 1 Peter 1:16 says, "Be holy, for I am holy." And that doesn't stop or pause just because you started dating. You can have a fantastic relationship with tons of fun and get to know each other by abiding in God's standards for sexual purity. Don't expect casualties when you're going on a date. Instead, stick to God's standards. Expect to be encouraged toward godliness and strive to encourage your date towards Christ-likeness. And this is just a quick list of what not to do on a date, but I would love to hear your horror stories. And, don't have to include names in the comments below. Like and subscribe while you're at it. It only takes a second. This is Hannah from Identifying God's Best, and we'll have more girl talk later.